Hey guys, this is Cameron with Fishing Addicts Northwest and Catchin Guide Service, and today I'm going to show you how to make a heavy monofilament bumper that protects your flashers from losing them on the bottom. You're going to need a heavy 150 to 200 pound monofilament, a 60 pound duo snap, a 100 pound duo snap, some large beads, a bead chain, some 150 to 200 pound crimps, and a crimping tool. So the reason why we make these heavy monofilament bumpers is because with these inline flashers and with the Pro Troll style flashers, there's a lot of twisting and a lot of tangling that can happen. When you tangle these up and untangle them, you never have to retie this bumper. It's also not going to get damaged by the tangling. So when you're fishing with new people in your boat or clients or anything like that, not having to take that extra step and to retie this bumper every time can save you invaluable time on the water. You're also going to use this heavy mono for when you snag the bottom. Now your weight dropper is going to be a less poundage than your main line and the bumper, and same with your leader. We use 150 to 200 pound, and then maybe even if we're using a 20, 30 or 50 pound leader, if you snag the hooks or you snag the lead, those are going to give and those are going to break. The only way you're going to lose this flasher is if you have maybe a bad knot in your main line, or you maybe somehow snag this flasher in like some rocks or a stump or something. Like, honestly, that's not going to happen near as often as snagging the hooks or the lead. So a basic setup for these bumpers consists of a small duo snap in front that is attached to the loop. That duo snap there is going to attach to the main line that's going to have a bead chain or a large swivel on it already. So you don't need to have an extra bead chain that's actually permanently attached to the bumper. Next, you're going to have the crimp, followed by a bead that's running inline between the two crimps along the mono. Now what that's going to do is that in case you have a chance where you throw the leader in the water or a line in the water and it runs against this bumper, if you don't have a bead there, that excess line will catch that crimp every time. And when it does, and this inline flasher is twisting or spinning, it makes a mess instantly. So having that large bead there is just a little extra protection from from saving yourself from another tangle. At the bottom end of the bumper, you're going to have a bead chain that's permanently attached within the loop. And the reason why is because you have the large snap here that goes to your flasher. By having that large snap there allows me to switch out flashers, or even allows me to take my duo snap off my leader and attach it to there if I don't even want a flasher on it at all. But having that large snap that's permanently attached to the bead chain, first off, saves me from having another duo snap here and allows me to be versatile on the water. So the steps to make the bumper is to first make a small loop. Put your crimp on, loop the mono back in, and try to evenly squeeze on the crimp. Now there's a couple things about doing this that you got to be careful. You can overdo it and you can crush the mono, which is why I prefer to use a 200 pound test. But you want to make sure that you squeeze that evenly, and you really want to make sure that you double check. What I'll generally do is take that loop and put it on a nail on my workbench in the shop and pull on it really hard. Like I said, you're trying to save your expensive flashers there. Once you have that little loop, then you can attach the duo snap for the front edge of your bumper. Remember, this is the part that's going to attach to the main line. Now, depending on if I'm running, depending on what distance I want to run, now I'm going to take my measurements, and let's say I want to make an 18-inch bumper for when I'm running like an inline flasher for the Columbia River. All I'm going to do is I'm going to add just an extra inch to the bumper. I'm going to cut it off there. Now I'm going to add my bead. And then I'm going to put my crimp on, but I'm going to be sure not to forget to add the bead chain that's going to be permanently attached in that loop. I'm going to loop back around, and my loops aren't going to be too big. They're going to be about a 1/2 inch total from the top of the loop to the bottom of the crimp, so that's going to equal that extra inch that I added. And then I'm going to crimp. Crimping evenly, not too hard to crush the mono. And then I'm going to double check it, and like right there, I can totally tell that I didn't grab both of it. or I didn't crimp both sides evenly enough, so I'm just going to just run it again. Double check that, make sure it's nice and tight. And now I'll attach the large snap that's going to attach to the flashers. Now don't forget that when you're making your bumpers, that sometimes you're going to need different lengths for the style of flasher you're going to use. For like an inline flasher, I prefer about 18 to 24 inches. You know, that distance seems to work really good for all the rivers and lakes and streams and bays and everything around here. But if you're also going to use one of the larger rotating flashers, these need a little more swing, so you're going to want to adjust your bumper length to 36, you know, maybe up to 48 inches. If you guys like what you see here, you can check us out at fishingaddictsnorthwest.com. Check us out on Facebook at Fishing Addicts Northwest and Gone Catching Guide Service. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel down below, and we'll see you guys on the water.